Welcome to King Tech. If you're here, you've probably heard the stories, right? The massive payouts, the industry prestige, and just that thrill of outsmarting the world's biggest companies. Bug bounty hunting. It really does look like a modern-day treasure hunt. But you might also know the other side of that story. The frustration, the endless hours with absolutely nothing to show for it, and the burnout that forces so many beginners to just quit. Today, we're going to give you the map to avoid all that and actually succeed. So, let's get into it.
And let's be real, the promise is huge. This isn't just a hobby. For a lot of people, it's a legitimate career path. You get to sharpen your skills on real, live targets, you can make a significant income, and you build a resume that opens doors across the entire cybersecurity industry. Companies are always on the lookout for talented, ethical hackers. And in this world, it's a pure meritocracy. Your skill translates directly to your success.
And this isn't some new trend. It's been evolving for decades. It all kicked off way back in 1995 with Netscape. Fast forward, and you see Mozilla step in, then Google, and then in 2011, Facebook launched its White Hat program, with no upper limit on payouts. This timeline just brilliantly shows the journey from a niche little idea to a core indispensable part of modern security, with these global platforms managing programs for thousands of companies.
So, okay, we've got this established, rewarding, and growing industry. The path seems clear, right? And yet, the reality for so many newcomers is they hit a wall of frustration. They jump in with these high hopes, spend weeks, maybe even months hunting, and come up with nothing but duplicate reports and this feeling of being completely overwhelmed. This is the central problem we're going to unpack today. Why does this promising field have such a high rate of beginner burnout? And, more importantly, how can you avoid it?
To answer that question, we're going to break down the most common pitfalls that trip up new hunters. Think of these as the hurdles you need to clear. We'll cover everything from that gold rush mentality and why process trumps tools, to the mindset you need, how to report your findings, picking the right targets, and finally, hunting with real confidence. If you can master these, you'll be on your way to building a sustainable and successful bug bounty career. All right, let's start with the first and honestly the most common trap, the bug bounty gold rush. This is the mindset that treats hunting like you're buying a lottery ticket. It's all driven by that desire for a quick, massive payout instead of the deliberate professional approach you need for long-term success. This is where so many beginners derail before they even get started because they're chasing the outcome instead of building the foundation.
The absolute #1 killer of progress is inconsistency. Bug bounty is not something you can do for 10 hours one weekend and then just forget about it for 3 weeks. Sporadic effort will always lead to sporadic results, if you get any results at all. The hunters who really succeed are the ones who dedicate consistent time. Even if it's just one focused hour every single day, that consistent effort is what builds momentum and lets you deeply understand a target.
The next pitfall is target hopping. A beginner gets frustrated with one program and poof, they immediately jump to another. Switching targets that quickly is like trying to read 7 different books at once. You'll never get deep enough into any of them to actually understand the plot. Experienced hunters know that the real vulnerabilities, the good stuff, are found by gaining deep knowledge of a single target. By focusing on one program for weeks, or even a whole month, you gain a massive edge over all the target hoppers out there.
Okay, so once you're focused, the next piece of the puzzle is your process. A lot of beginners, they fall in love with tools. They collect all these scripts, they run automated scanners, and they think the right tool is going to magically find bugs for them. But here's the truth. Your methodology, your systematic process is infinitely more important. Tools are just there to support you. They are not a substitute for a solid, repeatable process.
And this leads us right into pitfall number 3, putting all your faith in automation. Just think about it for a second. Thousands of other hunters are running the exact same popular tools on the exact same targets. So if you're only using automation, you're pretty much only going to find what everyone else has already found and reported. This just leads to a flood of duplicate submissions. Automated tools can't understand context or business logic, which is where the most unique and valuable vulnerabilities are usually hiding.
Now, what's really interesting here is the contrast. The automated approach, sure, it's easy to start, but it's noisy and gives you a really high chance of duplicates. The manual method, yeah, it's harder, it takes more time, but this is where you build fundamental skills. It forces you to truly understand the target's architecture, which is what leads you to find those unique vulnerabilities that automated tools will always miss. This is literally what separates the pros from the hobbyist.
Your entire hunt is built on this foundation of reconnaissance, or recon.
It always starts with passive recon. That's where you're gathering intelligence without directly touching the target's servers, using public sources like crt.sh. Only after you have that comprehensive map do you move on to active recon, where you start interacting with the target using tools like Nmap. A thorough recon phase uncovers opportunities that others who just jump straight to scanning will completely miss.
Now, technical skills are one thing, but what really sustains you, what carries you through those long periods where you might not find anything, that's your mindset. It's about setting goals for growth, not just for payouts. And this is the real key to avoiding burnout.
Here's the perfect illustration of our fourth pitfall, setting outcome-based goals. A goal like, I will find a critical vulnerability this month, just sets you up for failure because, well, you don't control the outcome. A much, much better goal is process-based, something you have 100% control over, like, I will spend 12 hours hunting on Program X this week. When you focus on controllable actions, you stay motivated and you guarantee you're improving. The bounties then become a byproduct of your consistent effort.
Okay, so your process is solid and your mindset is right. You've put in the hours and bam, you found something. That's great, but the job is only half done. How you report that finding is just as important as the discovery itself, and this is where a lot of beginners make critical errors. And that brings us to pitfall number 5, self-doubt. You discover a potential vulnerability, but then the questions start bubbling up. Is it a real bug? Is it even in scope? Am I going to look stupid? This hesitation causes so many beginners to just sit on valid findings, which directly costs them potential bounties and, just as importantly, valuable feedback. This quote right here says it all. I really want you to let this sink in. Every vulnerability you don't submit is a bounty you're likely missing out on. If you've found a valid security issue and it's in scope, report it. The absolute worst that can happen is you learn something. Don't let self-doubt steal that opportunity from you. And right on the heels of self-doubt is delaying your submission. In the world of bug bounty, you have to remember another hunter could find and report the exact same bug at any moment. Speed is everything. The second you have confirmed a vulnerability and you can write clear steps to reproduce it, you need to submit it. Waiting just dramatically increases your risk of getting marked as a duplicate. And listen, a fast submission must also be a quality submission. Your report needs a clear title, detailed reproduction steps, and a solid impact assessment. Don't just say there's a cross-site scripting vulnerability or XSS. Explain why it matters. How can an attacker actually use it? A great report makes a security team's job easy, which means a faster payout for you and a better reputation. All right, the final technical mistake that trips up so many beginners is a strategic one: picking your battles. Not all bug bounty programs are created equal, and not every program is a good fit for every hunter. Choosing the wrong program is just a fast track to frustration.
And this brilliantly illustrates the solution. You need to play to your strengths. If you're really skilled at testing web applications, then focus on programs that have those assets. If you excel at reconnaissance, then look for programs with those broad wildcard scopes. Matching your skills to the right target dramatically increases your chances of finding something. And frankly, it just makes the whole process more efficient and a lot more enjoyable.
All right, let's tie all of this together under one final idea: hunting with confidence. And this isn't about arrogance. It's the natural result of having a professional process, the right mindset, and the strategic sense to pick the right battles.
And a huge part of that confidence comes from understanding this critical concept: legal safe harbor. This is a formal statement from a company that basically says if you are hacking in good faith and following their rules, they won't pursue legal action. Always confirm a program has a safe harbor policy before you even think about starting. This is the bedrock of professional, ethical hacking. So if you take just one thing away from this guide today, let it be this: success in bug bounty hunting is not about luck. It's not about some magic tool. It is the direct result of a professional process, a resilient mindset that values learning over payouts, and most importantly, consistent, focused effort over time. You now have the map to avoid the common traps and navigate the world of bug bounty hunting like a professional. The path is paved with consistency, process, and the right mindset. So the final question is for you: what will be the first vulnerability you look for? If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to King Tech for more professional cybersecurity content. Thanks for watching.